Okay, as everybody knows, for me, today is a great day because my Mount Rushmore is a quarter realized, and we have the talented, the wonderful Erin Cahill as our guest today. Hello, Erin. How are you doing?
Hi, Eric. I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for that. That's an incredible introduction. So thank you.
When I got invited to be part of that Christmas at Sea, and I saw you're on there, I'm like, okay, I've been wanting to get you on here for a long time. So I was like, oh, this is awesome. Just
And
so you
during
know,
it, I was like, "Yeah, I gotta come on."
another 25% of that Mount Rushmore is Taylor Cole too. So I had both of you guys on the same meeting. So that was a slice of
Oh,
heaven. It was awesome. You guys are in great movies. So it is a pleasure to get the chance to talk to you.
thank you so much. And let's just have a second for Taylor Cole. It is impossible that she is that beautiful outside and inside. It's like who gets to be like that? She's amazing.
I remember that when I first met Ben Ayers, and I told him like, "Oh, I think I should hate you because you're getting to star with Taylor," and he's like, "You will not believe it, but she is even more beautiful inside." And so,
Yeah.
but I will say, people do talk quite nicely behind your back too.
Oh, thank
Yes.
thank you for saying that.
Okay. Well, we were talking about your movies, but before we talk about movies, a lot of your early career and a little bit lately, you've been in the video game thing, doing voices and things like
Yeah.
that. So that's got to be like way different. What is it like doing a gig like that compared to acting? Is it like you get a script and go in your bathroom for like 45 minutes and then you're done?
I love that question. First of all, because of a huge NDA, I can't say what, but I am currently working on a very big video game franchise that I've been working on for a few months. Actually, right, I don't know if you saw, I did a movie that came out in April as part of the spring celebration of movies. I filmed it in Spain. Journey to You,
Right.
beautiful, faithful movie. It's so beautiful. Um, anyway, right after I got back from that, I got a call about being part of this, and I was like literally kind of like, what? That sounds great. Because I've done it, but I've done very limited. Like I did Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and then Resident Evil. I got to do a couple of those animated movies. So it's the fact that this came along. And I actually did, I forgot, I did like a little, because someone brought it up recently. I was like, oh my gosh, I did. I did a couple voices in a Star Wars game years ago.
Right.
And they were like really supporting like ancillary, like kind of more you hear in passing or in background or whatever. And this was like, I mean, probably 15, at least maybe 16 years ago. So I was still so early on in my career. Um, anyway, oh my gosh, Eric, that's the longest way of saying it is totally different than anything else I do. Um, it's for me, I've always gone into a studio. I've never recorded at home, even though my husband's a musician. He's got a sit in home studio. He's got the mics and all the things. I've always gone into a studio, which has been really, really fun. So, but it's wild. Like you get, and because like the thing I'm working on now, which it's a known game. So they don't send you the script till like the night before. And you have like, yeah, you've signed your life away. So you don't even, you're like, can't even talk about it, even if I were get to read it. But it's super wild to have this like thing where you go in and you read off a page and then you just try and like make a moment happen off this, you know, sometimes looking at a monitor, but mostly just looking at a script.
No, there's no continuity, right? Isn't it just like sort of saying a whole bunch of random things, or is there an actual story? And so you do go in a
It's
flow.
it's really funny. I think for some games there's aspects where it's just what you said, like it's just kind of like go 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 or whatever. Um when I did Call of Duty, there were like scenes because my character was a hacker and we would shoot it like a scene. We would rehearse and then there was a giant soundstage with like a bunch of cameras on three walls, and then that's how it was wild. So that was that one, and then Resident Evil, there were two animated movies, so those were like full scripts. Those were like, but yeah, you do it in little. I mean, I guess you do every movie in little chunks, actually. And the movie's not like a play at all. So it's kind of those were kind of similar in that way. But yeah, it is really funny the games that are like, you know, go on, do it, Bob, and then that's it. That's your whole line for the day or whatever.
It's awesome. So a lot of people I think do know, but maybe some don't. But you started way back when as a Power Ranger, a pink Power Ranger, right?
Mhm.
And then it seemed like for several years you were pretty much in every single series, as you know, getting an episode here, an episode there. And then you obviously fell into the world of the rom-coms. So in this journey, how has your definition of success evolved from, you know, what you were doing way back when as a action hero all the way through to, you know, walking through Spain for 45 days or for 4 months or whatever it was? I know you didn't
Oh,
really go for 4 months, but you know, character.
Eric, first of all, that is such a thoughtful. I feel really like that's a really thoughtful question, and there's a lot of care in that question. I just want to acknowledge that and thank you. That's really beautiful. Um, yeah, I love that question. How has my vision of success changed? I think it's changed. I think it's a combination of the projects I've gotten to work on, but also age, right? And doing something for touch wood, Eric. If you got some, will you just touch wood for me? Doing something for over 20 years. I think your relationship with anything you do for that long, or you have a relationship with for that long, is going to change and grow and evolve. And I always just said I just want to be a working actor. Um, and then I went through a brief period when I couldn't understand why I wasn't working with Brad Pitt. And then I got back to just like being to not just to wanting to be a working actor and tell good stories. And I'm super grateful to be in a fraction of actors in my industry that can make a living and also, like I said, tell good stories. So I think my version of success now is for me personally, because I know a lot of my friends even have different. I think it's individual. You know what, Eric? That's it. That's what it is. Is it's such an individual uh journey, and it's such an individual relationship. And so for because I think everybody has their own version of success. And so for me, it's it's really, yeah, am I happy first and foremost, and am I telling good stories? Um and am I using my life to like the fullest capability? And that's success. And it doesn't have to look any which way. I think it comes differently day by day.
Well, you just went perfect segue into my next question about using your life, you know, for success.
Oh,
And so before we get, you know, into too much of the movies, you know, and what you do in front of the camera, you do a lot of charity work with Build On, and you know, it's incredibly inspiring. So can you just tell like a specific memory, you know, personal memory that you have of putting one of these school trips, building trips together that just had a lasting impact on you? Not, you know, forget the whole acting thing, but just
yeah.
you and your growth as a human being.
Okay, Eric, you're killing me with these questions.
I
Like
can
I
ask
just
you
said,
about like, you know,
oh,
some Hallmark movie question, but yeah, before that, we want to ask you the questions like you haven't been asked 7,000 times.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I always try to work in build on because I'm so passionate about it. Um, Thank you. Uh, yeah, it's so build on. My gosh, a million memories come flooding to mind when you asked that. It was almost like a movie montage. It's just like this, and this, and this, and you think about all these things. So just for the listener, to build on is an organization that I got lucky enough. Actually, do you know who an actor called Travis Van Winkle is?
I do.
Yeah, so I've known Trav for years, and he works with Build On.
I'm trying to remember the movie you were in a movie way back in your early Hallmark movie days with him.
Not with Travis.
Oh, you weren't?
You're thinking
Oh
of
no, you were with Trevor Donovan. Yes,
Trevor
Travis Van
Donovan.
Winkle. Okay, yeah, 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 yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's why I was like, you're thinking of Trevor Donovan, which I
Oh
can
yeah.
see that. They're both like, they look like Ken
Well, I was
dolls.
going out the T, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because they both do also look like living Ken dolls. So it's like, I can kind of get it. Um, yes, I've known Trav for years through mutual friends, and he started working Build On. And he was like, "You volunteer more than anybody I know. Do you want to come help me build a school?" And I was like, "Say less, I'm in." But then I really found out about what Build On does is they work with kids in after school programs here in America, in kind of what could be considered more tough communities, um, and then they work with kids. not just kids abroad, they actually target the most in need communities in the world for the purpose of like combating global poverty. But with that comes, obviously economic change, for change for the environment. Um, because if you educate a whole community, then there ends up being less babies born, but also less infant fatalities. It's basically, to me, one of the things I've seen that makes the most true and deep and generational impact. Um, because the whole thing about you can give a man a sandwich or you can give a man a fish, but you could teach him to fish.
Right.
And there's a difference. So build on. Okay, wow, I am giving you like the longest winded answers. So build on. So that's it. So we've done 5 schools, and those are my babies. We don't have like human kids. We have one fur baby, and then my schools. Mine. Oh my gosh, my husband somewhere probably just went, what? Because he's partnered with me on all of them. It's like there are babies. And then but we've sent 10 kids from the Bronx to build one, and then we've gone in with a team and built the other ones. Um, and the next one we're gonna send 10 kids again, probably from the Bronx, because I was made in New York and grew up in New York, and the other areas they work in are great areas too, but I'm like, come on, let's get those kiddos there. Um, but for me, the probably the first thing that comes to mind is the communities always do a welcome ceremony to welcome you, because there's no, it's not like we're going on a mission, right? It's not that at all. We're partnering with the communities there. So we are really like, we're not here to save you. We're here to work with you. They have to work at it so that we have to fundraise, and then when we get there, they share their community with us, and we do cultural exchange classes, and it's very much like we are here giving and receiving in equal measure to each other, as humans. And but when you get off there, so it's so exciting. They always do a welcome ceremony, and it's just indescribable. Everybody from the village, from babies in a sack on a back to the most elder in the village who can hardly walk, are there at these celebrations, and it's just indescribable. And I feel like I've been talking for 5 minutes straight, so I'm going to stop talking. But basically, the welcome ceremonies where they dance and cheer and play drums and sing, and you're in the middle of a field, and that's it. You just came out on a bus. It's the most beautiful. It just makes you feel connected to humanity again, and like hope.
Well, people don't want to hear me talk. They want to hear you talk. So you can talk all you want. I'm
Why
not
don't
going
you
to
just
stop.
talk? I just have to talk. I think like less time.
No,
Like give people bites to chew into, not like I'm like, here's an entire steak, eat it without a fork and knife.
that works. It's fascinating stuff.
Oh,
You've been part of Comic Cons and Morphicons, but then you've also done obviously a lot of the rom com Christmas cons and those kind of things.
yeah.
I imagine the crowds and the experience is a tad bit different. So, how would you just in a nutshell sort of describe the two different elements?
Yeah.
And is there like one like thing that you like about each one a little bit better than the other?
Oh my gosh, Eric. Okay, I love both of these questions. They are different, right? There's like Comic Cons, the traditional like Comic Cons with cosplay and costume, like, that kind of nerd culture. And I say that in a good way because I am a nerd. Like, what I left out about me doing the Star Wars thing was I love it. I'm such a nerd. Like, I'll routinely quote Star Wars. I had a dream the other night where I was at a sample sale with a girlfriend. I mean, like, I love fashion, but I was wearing like a fabulous outfit and Star Wars sneakers, and I found a dress that had Star Wars on it. Like, that's where my brain is.
But that was a
So I
dream.
feel it was a dream. I just had a dream about it. Like, why was I in a dream shopping wearing Star Wars sneakers? I don't know. Um, but that's what happened. So so yes, it's interesting. There's like the two Comic Cons are very different, and Christmas is all about, it's like families and kind of like the grandma's down, and Comic Con doesn't have traditional Comic Cons don't have kind of maybe quite as broad, I think, an age range, I think. So they have a million differences, but what I love is their similarities. And what I love for me is that there is something because I fan out like when you were being so sweet, you were saying how excited you are to meet me. It's so funny you can meet people that you're so excited to meet, and then you can like meet the a couple people that you're like surprised excited that you're like so excited it's almost scary like and it's not who you would normally think, you know? Like like for me, I worked with Alfred Molina. Do you know who he
Yeah,
is?
yeah.
Yeah. Um and I just could not sleep the night before. It wasn't like I and I've worked with other I've gotten so fortunate to work with like Oscar winners and whatever, but for some reason he threw me. And I but so we all have this the whole point of that is to say we all have this fan inside of us, all of us, no matter who you are. And so I think that's like the cool thing about these is it's like an energy of like fandom but community. You know, it's like when you get together in a room for something that you all love because it doesn't happen too often in life, you know, unless you go to the movies or unless you go to a concert. There's not like a big group communal thing of like here there's one thing we all love that we're going to show up for and we're going to celebrate and we're going to hopefully get to interact, but if not we'll get to like be in the same space as you and that's so exciting. You know, because I remember when I went to Comic Con, I was there for Resident Evil actually, and Power Rangers I've done, but it was Resident Evil. We got to go into some of the great halls, kind of like with like guest passes, kind of in the back, which I was like, I would have had to wait in line. This would have like I was already pinching myself, but like I was nerding out over The Walking Dead, like nerding out. I was like, hey Norman, you know, like so I love that there is a place where people who are excited about something can get together and celebrate it with no judgment and just like a total community feeling.
Well, speaking of getting together and having these things, you just did a big live, well, it was a little while ago, but a live thing that's coming up, Christmas at Sea, which we talked about.
Hmm.
But you also have for part of Christmas, July holidays, which, by the way,
Oh,
some of the absolute best programming, forget Hallmark, that was such a good series. Um, so
oh,
amazing series.
thank
But
you.
in there, you're Nora, right? And you're given a script, you have a director saying, do this, do that, and you're doing your job very, very competently. But when you're on that cruise, I imagine, yeah, you still have, people telling you kind of how to do things, but you're you, right? You don't have a script on, okay, here's Erin, here's how play Erin. What was that like for you playing yourself, versus getting a character?
Well, I love that question. It's so funny because all of us, I think we kind of like day one, we were kind of like, oh, there's cameras and like we were kind of aware of them, and we're actors, so we're always aware if there's a camera. But then eventually, we just unless we were doing something specific where we're talking to some of the people from the cruise who were highlighted, unless it was something specific like that where there was a director and the lighting guy was right there and whatever, we just kind of forgot that we were being recorded. So you'll see these like little moments and snippets where we're talking to people and we're like doing selfies and we're laughing. I didn't even know I was being recorded for some of those. So that was wonderful to just kind of be myself. But then when we were interacting with like Gail and Alicia, the couple that are best friends, and me and Sarah are legitimately Sarah Drew are legitimately best friends in real life. When we were talking to them, it was so funny because we were totally ourselves. Like I can vouch, she's the best girl. Wait till you see the show. She's amazing. Um, but we also were like so excited. So I'm curious to see how it comes out because I'm like I was myself, but I was also like a super excited version of myself because the energy on that ship was just like it was electric. Like it was very rare to just be like in a chill mood and talking to people and it was like it was just a constant like ah! So whenever we talk to people on camera, I'm like I just wonder how it's going to be because I know I was so excited the whole time, like truly authentically excited. So that was different. That was different than just like doing an interview or a wonderful podcast and meeting somebody, it was a different energy because it was fully like ah!
Well, you were in, now leaving the boat, you were in Appetite Love. And that for me is one of the most underrated Hallmark movies. It
Which one?
is Appetite for Love with when you're in the chef contest.
Oh, A Taste of Love.
Taste of Love.
Oh, because
Here am
I was
I
like,
talking about
Eric,
how
that's
great
not
it
me.
is, and I'm calling it the wrong thing. Taste of Love. Um,
Oh, thank you.
but wait, no, the one with Brad Penny?
Oh, Brendan Penny, that was
Brendan Penny.
Secret Ingredient.
Secret Ingredient.
But I wonder
Man,
if in a different market it had a different name, but it was called The
no.
Secret Ingredient on
Why am I
Hallmark.
whatever? Here I am saying it's a great movie, and I'm getting the whole name wrong.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
don't worry at all.
but it is seriously, it's one of my favorite movies. I've seen it a
Oh.
gazillion times. And you're also in Taste of Love as well, as we were just saying. But do you have like the culinary skills to brag about?
Okay, I'm laughing because somewhere my husband, he's in another part of the house somewhere. He probably was just like he probably perked up, was like, what? He thinks it's hysterical that I have played a chef twice, and I both times I had to be like, guys, how do you hold a knife? Like how do I chop making it look like both times I've had to go into training. I love to bake. So that was the thing about Secret Ingredient that was a little more similar. But I love to bake in that, you dump out the mix, you put in some eggs and water and oil, you spin it up, and then you put it in the oven, and then you decorate it. Not like from you make all the.
Right.
So it's very interesting. Basically, long story short, I am not the cook in the family. I I got very lucky to marry a man who loves to cook and is incredible at it.
Well, good. No, I expect you to be in your next movie we see to be a chef again, and I will be watching it very cynically.
Exactly. To be like, how's she holding that knife?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a Julian, that's a dice. But okay,
Wait, Eric, are you a chef?
I do the cooking in my house too.
I could tell by the way you said it's not a Juliet, it's a dice. I was like, okay, you even got the words. I see you.
One of the things fans love about the Hallmark movies is obviously the big kiss at the end. And we see this wonderfully, romantic kiss. But on stage, everything we've heard is it's not quite that romantic. So from you, just tell what it's like, for doing that. And then do you have like a great or a funny story about, doing the big ultimate moment of one of your Hallmark movies?
Yes. Okay, yes. Well, it's funny because it's like everybody says, you think it's gonna be like so romantic, and of course, part of you has to feel that to make it authentic. But oftentimes, you're worried about like the angle and the lighting, and then the so it's and then so there's a lot of technicality to that moment in particular. Um, but yeah, we yes, my second ever Hallmark, or maybe it was my third. Might have been my third. But this is now because I've done I think a dozen now, and but over the span of like 9 years. So it's been, which is so many. I know, I'm so fortunate. I'm so grateful. But also compared to like, the Ashleys and the Nickies and the Lacey's, I'm like still a baby, like I'm still uh so I had only done a couple, but I had come from, like you said earlier, I'd come from crying and dying and everything. I'd come from being a theater kid. I'd come from doing an action series, and like I did a sitcom on Fox, but like I mostly did like crying and dying and stuff. So I mostly did like dramatic work. So like anyway, me and my co-star, and I won't say who, and he's just like a brother. Oh my gosh. No chemistry off camera. Actually, to the point where I was like worried. I was like, are we even gonna look like it works? And it does. It looks great on camera. But we had the first time we did the kiss, we had such a makeout. Like we both were like, it's such a passionate moment. We went for it. And then the director was like, cut. Okay. All right. That's not going to make the edit. And the producer was like, in no world will any of that make the edit. So, guys, we have to. And we both were like, oops, too much. Like, I will never forget being like, oh, oops.
All right, brother. I would say the brother part makes that story even better.
Oh my God. But off camera, we're like, totally like, we're both kind of nerds. So it's really funny that it worked on camera. I'm glad.
I can do math and figure out what your third Hallmark movie was too.
I
So,
don't know. It might have been my second. And genuinely, I'm not just saying that to cover my butt. I genuinely can't remember if it was my second or third. Not my first one, because Dave was wonderful, but I think he had done one or two Hallmarks before that. And our producer was very Maura Dunbar. She was awesome about walking me through because she kept going. Because I came from, like I said, drama. So I came from like I kept playing it like super like real and almost a little dark. She kept being like, Hallmark. And she kept, and then so that's how I was like, oh, it's aspirational. Okay.
well, I am going to put you on the spot now.
Uh-oh.
And
Uh-oh.
there's a very non-Hallmark game, but I'm going to make it a little more family friendly, and I'm going to call it Kiss, Compete, and Keep. So you now
I
have to
know the
take
game you're talking about,
you
my
now have
friend.
to take
Yes.
all your Hallmark co-stars and tell me which one you would do another kissing scene with,
Oh,
who you want to compete with in a ice sculpting slash gingerbread decorating contest, and then which one you want to go ahead and star in a series with.
so kiss, compete, or
And then keep. So you're going to do a
kiss.
series. Like you
Oh,
want
I
to act with them
love
every
that.
day for a month.
Okay, now this is of my guys.
Yeah. Well, I guess
Or
if you want to kiss one of your female co-stars,
um I um okay. I'm only like but this is so hard because because like I've never done okay, so for the kiss, I have to give a few answers. And only because I've never done movies with them and it boggles my mind. Andrew Walker, been a dear, dear actual friend of mine for over 15 years. We did a project in Berlin, not for Hallmark. We did a pilot of TV show, an action pilot actually. So it'd be like Andrew just because I want to do a movie with him, or like Paul Campbell, who I adore and I've never done a movie with, or Victor Webster, also who I've known for a million years, who I've never done a movie with. Uh, oh my God, there's totally someone I'm forgetting. The BJ Britt, who I love, who've never done a movie with. So the kiss list is long, but only because I want to do movies with them. The compete, who do I want to like? Eric, are they on my team or competing? Am I competing
you're
against
competing
them?
against them.
Oh,
So who you want to take
um,
down?
honestly, you know what? I don't, I don't know. Like, I feel like Jonathan Bennett would be so fun to compete against. Here's why. I just would be laughing the whole time. So, like, even though I would want to get competitive, all I would do is just be laughing at him, making me laugh. So, I'm gonna go with Jonathan Bennett for that, and then keep. I mean, if I could do a series that was like like a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants or something with like me and Sarah Drew and like Brooke or Cindy, or I mean I could name, there's like a bunch of us who are actually like Nikki and Ashley who are actually like best friends, like call you in the middle of the night if an emergency happens friends. Um that would be my keep. I would do that series in a heartbeat with my girls.
I think it would break the I don't know you can't say break the internet, but the ratings of that. Forget the three wise men and a baby. You would break the cable universe with that one.
Oh, wouldn't that be just like so amazing if we were all just like in this show? Oh,
It would be amazing. All right, we're going to get a little serious for a little bit here, but you were in
okay.
Hearts of the Game, and that was for me
Oh,
a rom-com on the surface, but it beautifully dealt with mental health. And when it's not like what you would expect from a Hallmark movie, but they made it, in the Hallmark vein and stuff like that. But when you got that, did you realize like, wow, this is kind of a heavy movie with a very fluff, topsoil to it?
yes, I love that you just said all of that. Thank you again for knowing so much. Marco Grazzini in that movie did such a beautiful job, and I was so grateful for. I think that producer was it was Emily Merlin, I believe, was the producer on that. Or Angela Polk. Anyway, the producer, because when I got the offer, I was like, "Oh, fun! A baseball spring movie. Never done anything like that. Yeah, let's do it." And then I read it, and I was like, I fully cried at the end, and I was like, "This is such an important topic. It's so important right now because it was post pandemic, and I think that it's just a really important, timely, topical conversation and yeah, I loved it. I think you're exactly right. It was so profound, the message. And the way they delivered it was a really beautiful, like not Christmas, but it was a beautiful summer package from Hallmark with, like it was very palatable, but it
Right.
was incredibly profound and real.
Well, you are on here, and we are a mystery podcast.
Yeah.
That's our thing. And you were, as I have here behind me, you were Kate Colson in Mystery 101.
Yeah.
And not just Kate Colson, but you were Travis's ex-wife too.
Mhm.
So when you got that role, did you have any idea how passionate the Mystery 101 fans were? Because they are next level for the whole mystery, genre here.
Yeah. No, forgive me. I didn't know. I'd heard of course of Mystery 101, but um we filmed that in 2020. Um so I was still, I mean, it's like a few years into my Hallmark career, but I'd only done a couple at that point. So I knew of it. I wasn't as fully ingrained as I am now, and now it's like my family, but all that to say, I didn't know. I just knew. I read the part and I was like, come on, the ex-wife, so juicy. Come on, an FBI agent, so juicy. And then we end up getting along like so great. And it was, by the way, Palahaha. Sorry, we call him Palahaha, a couple of us.
I think everyone yes,
Yeah.
with a name like that, you have to go there.
I mean, I can't not say, I can't, it's like really hard to say just Palaha. Um, him and Jill and the entire cast, it was such a dream. It is so heartbreaking it's over. I can't even, I can't, that's like the one that got away. Because when I did it, there was a lot of conversation about potentially how I could come back
Right.
and what could happen. Um, and it was such a family on set, and the two of them were so magical that I was like, oh, I'm in. Like, let's have fun for years, guys. And then things changed.
Things happen.
Things happen. They happen.
Well, you did come in, to a series that was established with those two characters who were very tight. And you were the ex-wife, and there was like just that awkwardness of the characters, right?
Mhm.
About coming in. Especially, I love the scene when you are staying at her place, and she's like, "All right, right, great, great, great scene." But because you were coming into such an established group, was there like a personal awkwardness too of like, how do I fit into these? Like everyone just knows ahead of time what to do, and you're kind of an outsider walking in on this set.
No, I've had that before where I've done an episode of a TV show where you just try to figure out, you're like, oh, okay, they're doing their own thing and I'm here, for this moment. This set was not like that. They were like, welcome in, Erin's here. Erin, get over here. Erin, this is how we do it. Or Erin, be in this video with us. Or Jill got me, hold on, do I have it here or is it in LA? Jill got me a wrap gift. It was a mystery book. Um, oh, it must be in LA. Shoot. Anyway, but she signed it and I was like, did you just give me a wrap gift? Like what? I felt so guilty. I was like, oh my God. I had written her a card, because she was so wonderful to work with. But no, this set was the opposite of that. This set was all love and inclusivity and welcomeness and
Did you know either of them beforehand you're going in or
mm-mm.
no?
I Chris and I went out and grabbed like dinner before because he was like, I want to meet you. I was like, oh, that's a perfect thing to do. We, playing that, like being that we're playing exes and known each other half our lives. We should meet. So yeah, we grabbed dinner, and ever since then, though, I literally made lightning strike me. Was texting with him day before yesterday. Um, him and his whole family and his three magical boys and his absolutely stunning wife have become, we've all become buddies. So I didn't know him before, but I super know him now.
Well, I think you'll like where I'm going with the next one then. So I've had this brilliant idea, I think, in my mind, but it was creating a prequel where Kate and Travis, back when they're in Chicago solving crimes, chasing the Wolfman and everything like that
Yeah.
together. And
Good memory.
I thought it was great. And once again, it's a way to sort of carry on Mystery 101 without carrying on Mystery 101. Now, a lot of Mystery 101 fans hate me for it because they're like, no, Travis can never be with anyone but Amy and things like that. But I think it's wonderful and I would love to watch it. What do you think? Would you like
You.
to head to Chicago, the Windy City, and be part of Windy City Mysteries with him in the prequel?
In a heartbeat. I would be so over the moon to do a show. First of all, to tell the story of them, like you said, like
Right.
searching for the Wolfman and like all the things they go through together and all of the, like how I love mysteries, I love thrillers, I love, um, but yeah, to work with Palahaha, I can see already me and my husband having family dinners with him and his wife and the boys, and then his son Caleb and my husband are musicians and they like jam out. It's just anyway, yes. An emphatic yes. How do we make it happen?
Okay, so you have to tell him now, say, hey, I got to be in Windy City. Well, the funny thing is, so when I posted some ideas. It got like picked up by a lot of people who thought it was like actually coming out. And I was like, no, this is just a wish list and stuff. So, all right.
Oh, I know.
Well, like I say, this has been absolutely wonderful for me. Thank you very
Oh.
much. Now, do you have anything coming up that you can talk about? You don't have a big NDA, signed, but you can say, hey, look for
Um,
this.
I mean, just the two Christmas and July shows,
Yeah, but those are
Sunday nights.
done ones.
Oh,
We've
once this
like,
airs,
yeah,
yeah.
what's new?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to be next for me, Eric, other than this project that I can't talk about, which won't come out, I think. I can tell you though that a teaser for it is supposed to drop this fall. So
Okay.
I think at that point I can talk about it. So keep your eyes out. And then I don't know what's going to be
So
next. I've heard some rumors.
okay, so I this may be top secret, and I apologize if I have to edit out, but so you don't have a Christmas movie lined up for this countdown to Christmas?
I heard a rumor, but I haven't gotten an official offer.
Okay.
And every podcast that I've been on has been like, I don't understand, but I thought you, and I was like, thank you. I think so. I would love, so I don't know.
It can't be Christmas without you, so
Oh, thank you
all
for
right.
so, oh, thank you from your mouth, my darling, from your mouth,
I'll call
as they
all the
say.
people and I'll put the word in, it's like close this deal, send the contract. Gotta happen
Thank
now.
you. Yeah, so I'm just having faith that like, sure it's gonna work out. But yeah, not that I know
They're
of.
just waiting for it to get just hot enough. So when you have to dress in your parkas and things like that, that you are in
Exactly.
the ultimate misery. So, okay.
Exactly.
Well, Erin, thank you very much. This was absolutely amazing and great story. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. I so appreciate you, your heart, your knowledge and your knowing and caring. I so appreciate you. I'm so glad I got to do this.
Thank you.
Thank you. You take care, okay?
Bye.
Bye, love. Thank you.
This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark Channel.